Mala Buni is back in the saddle at the APC. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee has refuted claims that he has reversed some actions taken by the Niger State Governor Mohammed Bello, who assumed the national chairmanship position as the acting chairman of the party last week while Mr. Buni was away on medical trip. Who is also who stood in, and at the end of the day, the president had told Mr. Buni to get back to work. Yeah. There have been insinuations that Mr. Bello had permanently replaced Mr. Buni on the orders of President Muhammadu Buhari, but the refutation came today with a letter that surfaced, which we'll show you some moment on the program. But the speculations have been put to rest after the president on Wednesday backed Buni's continued role as a picture emerged on the meeting between President Buhari and Mr. Buni. Let's get talking about this one and what is really happening in the APC. I'm being joined by a chieftain of the APC, Chief Ray Murphy. Thank you so much, Chief, for coming tonight.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
And Mr. Aliyu Audu. You are a member of the APC Reform, right?
The convener of APC Rebirth.
APC Rebirth. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
What is exactly is happening, Chief? We understand that Senator Akpan Uduede has been let out of the caretaker committee. What is the true state of things?
Sure, thank you. You know, a political party is a contestation, both of ideas and of powers. That's what it is. And in the recent past, there's been issues about those contestations. And the fact remains that a lot of people who are outside the confines of a party are the ones who are actually blowing these things out of proportion. The facts are very clear that Buni was away for a while. He transmitted his office to Bello, who acted for a while. Bello came out repeatedly and said he was an acting chairman. He was acting. He said it repeatedly. People who didn't understand it blew it out until the president came into play and Buni came back into play. Now, when you talk about Akpan Udodeye, it's a little bit clear that Akpan Udodeye didn't play with the sentiments of a party, because Buni himself said that there was no way they were going, because Bello was acting for him, there was no way they were going to dismantle the actions they had taken. And as soon as the president gave that letter, Mr. Udodeye began to try to dismantle that. That is what led to the situations you're seeing. Clearly speaking... So
was it true that there was a vote of no confidence on Senator Udodeye?
There was certainly a vote of no confidence. There was certainly a vote of no confidence.
Has it been removed at the secretary of the party?
There's certainly a vote of no confidence. But go back to the president's letter, who said very clearly that given the short time frame, given the facts of legalities and issues like that, given the expectations of INEC and expectations of the citizens, and to make the 26th, it's imperative that they should return to status quo ante. That's in the president's letter.
So, but what happened today is the fact, what is imagined? You've confirmed to us there was a vote of no confidence on Senator Akpan Udodeye. So what is the implication? Is he out of that office?
Let me answer you again. If you remember, if you followed your report from the party today, the candidate of the party from Osun State came to validate his form, and it was Akpan Udodeye who signed his form that he went to INEC with. So which is obeying the fact that Mr. President has said they should go back to status quo ante. And you know, INEC takes a procedure to change officers of a party. So this, what you see, this contestation, there are contestations, no doubt. But the fact remains that these contestations are a normal part of politics. And I think people are really blowing it out of proportion. And the man who is the leader...
Are the people blowing out of proportion? Or, I mean, it's one day, one change, one day, one twist, because the president had said, I mean, even the chairman today said there are not going to be any changes, but there were changes in the subcommittees that were earlier released. This is going to be the third time that the list of subcommittees were going to be released. So when you say that people are misconstruing, what language?
You know, there are things about time lags between order and action. The fact remains that as at this evening, I'm a member of a committee.
Yeah.
The fact remains as at this evening, as I speak to you, the committees that are released by the acting chairman remain as constituted.
That's not true.
That's correct.
The list that came out, I mean, especially for the chairmanship and the leadership of those committees have changed.
That is why you saw that refutal. There's a refutal today.
That list is not
by
true.
Buni. There's a refutal by Buni who says that all actions taken by Bello remain.
So the list that was signed by Governor Buni...
No. The list that came out today was released by Apan Dodeye.
So that's where the trouble began.
That's what happened today. So the Buni came back to refute it.
All right.
The papers, I'm sure you have those letters.
Absolutely, I have the letters. Yeah. And that's where the confusions are coming. That, I mean, this is the third time we're seeing the convention planning committee being changed. But now that you have established for us that the one that came out today is to be ignored.
Looking at Buni's letter today that came out after that.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Okay, Mr. Audu, what is your reaction? You are one of the group, I mean, the group that said you want a rebirth in the APC. Does it look like the rebirth that you wanted?
I mean, it has never been a time to be disappointed as a member of an organization than now, being a member of the APC. I must say that. Very disappointed in the leadership. And for those who have expected to come and show clear leadership, they've all failed, you know. And I mean, you would understand why a lot of people were excited about...
Declaring your terms. I mean, people like Governor Buni or... I mean, these are your leaders in your party.
Unfortunately.
What do you mean they failed?
Of course.
They're going to conduct a convention on the 26th of March.
That is the only hope we have at the rebirth of the party right now. And the only thing we can ask for is for the caretaker committee to get their acts together, give us a credible, free, fair, and contested convention on the 26th of March. We do not want any consensus. Let every position be contested by people so that whoever emerge will have the legitimacy and the support and the respect of every member of the party. We don't want any side arrangement to bring in someone. I mean, if anybody has influence...
But if the president, the leader of your party, decides that he wants consensus?
That will be dictatorship.
But he's the leader of your party.
I mean, the fact that the governors did it at their state does not mean the president should do it. That's the reason why we came into the party, because of him and not because of the governors.
But consensus is now part of a legal way of election in a primary.
Thanks to the electoral law, consensus will have to be signed. And the only good thing about this is the fact that the form is... I mean, you know, we've been here to cry about the sales of form. The form is out now. People are buying forms, you know. And by that electoral law, it means that you cannot force consensus on an individual. And our words as young people in the party to every contestant is to ensure they stand their ground, that they do not succumb to any pressure, any blackmail. I mean, the fact that you decide to stand for your aspiration and stand for what you want to, how you want to add value to the party does not in any way mean you are being disrespectful to any office or any individual.
So you're saying that the leadership, I mean, including Chief Ray Murphy that sits beside you there, is one of the leaders of the party where you say they have failed. I mean, have you been able to substantiate that?
I mean, by June 2020, a team was set up, the caretaker committee, to deliver convention in 6 months. Right now, we're about 23 months after that. We haven't done that. And you are aware that for about 6 months or over now, my group, the APC Rebirth, have been at the forefront shouting about their incompetence and unwillingness to conduct the convention.
Chief Murphy, how would you react to what how do you say?
I really don't, I didn't want to barge in, because I like him to have his say, which is normal. But you see, let's start with consensus. A consensus is a part of democratic evolution. Sometimes you say, look, 3 people are running for an office. The 3 people get together, like you said, put their signature on a piece of paper and agree that one of them should run. That's allowed within the Constitution of the APC. That's allowed within the Electoral Act. That's one. The word of, when you use the word failure, that's a value statement. And the facts are very clear. I was right there when there were issues around the Shomole's stay, and a caretaker committee was formed. There has been extensions. They didn't get the extensions on their own. They didn't impose the extensions on themselves. They got the extension from the leadership of the party. So the fact remains that my young friend here may have expectations in his view that has not been met. But to make a blanket statement about failures and all of that is not on. And again, my brother, you know, the parties are dynamic. Sometimes some of my fringe friends begin to want to cross over to other parties, and they begin to go out to disparage the party as a preparation to moving on.
Is that your reason for
I'm wondering. I'm wondering.
Are you one of those that want to cross to the other side? And I mean, because validate what or invalidate what Chief Murphy said. Is that the reason why you're talking?
I say some of the fringe people, because I wouldn't.
Because
there's something.
I do not think that word fringe refers to me. I'm not in any way a fringe member. I'm a foundation member of this party, and I've contributed my time, my resources, my energy, day and night to the success of this party for the 2 elections, before amalgamation, before the formation of the party, the first election and the second election. Me, my friends, and my group have been at the forefront defending the action of the party, of the government, and of the party, defending the party day and night. I do not think any of us belong to that term word fringe. But I'll tell you what the problem is. It's a generational problem. We have a generation of people who got everything on a platter. They got a working country, but they could not sustain or preserve that for my generation.
And you think that this current leadership of APC is the one you blame for all of this? Is that what you're saying?
No. If I blame them for all of this, if my goal was to blame them for all of this, then I won't join the APC. The idea is, we know we've had a problem as a nation. So what we expect the APC to do right now is to be up and doing, is to ensure that you bring hope to over 200 million Nigerians, is to show direction in such a way that shows that we are truly the party for greater Nigeria. I mean, not to come back and do exactly what PDP did for 16 years, not to come back and even be worse than PDP in the 16 years. And the fact is, I'm not a fringe member of the party. I am in the party representing my generation.
Let Chief Murphy also.
I have not submitted. I am not doing this so I can leave the party to APC. However, my loyalty first is to this country. And the fact that me and my generation are saying this country has to work. It has to work.
My brother, this is the thing I have to say. What is politics? Politics is the struggle to take power for the purposes of governance. This is a constant. People must disagree. People must get together to agree. And if you don't believe there's something to offer, then you don't offer yourself. So at every point in time, there is an effort to make things better. So to come and dismiss the efforts that are being made of your own party, that makes me begin to wonder whether we're in the same party to say to speak.
It doesn't have the right to disagree, even when things are not going well.
I wonder.
Because in the past days, your party has been one chaos or the other every day.
Let me make my point. A party is a contestation. That's a given. In that contestation, there are going to be issues. And we understand what politics is all about. Remember, they say politics is war by other means and war is politics by other means. So it gives you a clear idea of what politics is.
All right, let's wrap up now because we are totally out of time.
Yes.
So Chief Murphy, going forward, what do you think is the way forward? Because it does look like there's a lot of confusion.
Yes. My answer
Governor Buni has resumed fully, isn't it?
Yes.
And understand that he has met with Governor Bello.
Yes.
What was the outcome of that meeting?
My answers are clear. There will be a convention on the 26th. The president, who is the overall leader of the party, in agreement with the interests that have been expressed by everybody, is insisting from his letter that the 26th should remain. Everybody, whatever you call them, faction, whether you call them acting, whether you call them dismissed, everyone is working for the 26th.
All right.
And that is the time when we expect that there will be a change of elected leadership. And that is what we ask Nigerians to believe in.
Aliyu, 30 seconds. We need to close now.
The leadership of the party have dragged the APC members through confusion enough, and by extension Nigerians. And what we want in the next few days is clear leadership, as we have seen in the first few days of Governor Abubakar Bello. Let there be clear leadership to show that we are going to have a credible, free, fair, and contested convention.
I'm glad you agree that Bello made some moves.
All right. We need to close now.
Thank you very much.
Chief Murphy, thank you so much. It's good to see you again after such a long time.
Same here.
I
went back to my village to start a school. I just came back.
Thank you so much. Ali Audu, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
But that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimale. Bye for now.